Hey Internet, Eric here, and as you can see, I am not here alone. I am with someone from the adult industry that if I honestly read off all of the awards, we'd be here all fucking night. So I'm just going to say she is a AVN Hall of Fame member. She is someone who I've grown to know on X or Twitter or however you want to call it, and have enjoyed her personality. And she's also someone that I think has the best cameo ever in a Pauly Shore movie. Jewel Nyle. Jewel, thank you for giving me an hour or so of your time just to shoot the shit.
Absolutely. It sounded like fun. So here we are.
Yep. What I like to always do with these interviews is I like to explain how I came to know of the interviewee, and I'm not just going to do the generic, "Hey, I liked watching your films in the late '90s" type of thing. I'm going to go with I think it was through honestly, I think it was through Jasmine St. Clair on
Yeah.
X, and you
Yeah.
two were just chatting. I'm like, wow, I haven't heard from or of Jewel Nyle and no offense, probably 20 years. And I started following you, and I don't know if we just started bullshitting about music and horror movies and sending memes to each other, and that's how we kind of communicate now. So again, appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I love about X. People that you normally would never be able to chat with, you can chat on there
Yeah,
and
and
meet
there's
people through other people that are into the same shit you're into. So it's cool.
Yeah, it is because it does happen with a lot of performers from your era. It's like they
Yeah.
they they do their thing, and then they just unless they retire and return, like a lot of people seem to do, they just disappear. No social media, and I understand. So it was just kind of cool just seeing you, pop up in a conversation with Jasmine. I don't even remember what it was about. You know what I mean? It was
Who knows?
probably some,
Probably wrestling shit.
yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I doing research. My research is your YouTube channel, like different interviews you've done. Like I've watched one you did with Jasmine and one you did with Tom Byron. We're gonna get the usual, adult film stuff out of the way, but there's a lot of fascinating stuff that I've learned about you way outside of the business that, no offense, I'm more interested in. But we'll get the usual standard adult film stuff out of the way. I found it interesting that you started dancing I think you were 17, 18, and it was basically to pay the bills at home type of thing.
Yeah.
And you were caught, I don't know who it was, if it was Selena Steele or Sydney Steele saw you and
Selena.
she kind of pulled you into the adult business. Is that how it was? Like,
Yeah.
did you enjoy dancing, stripping? Was it something that you got into, or was it literally just to pay the bills type of thing?
Well, I got into it because I had been so athletic my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go and do these contests and I would win money at them because I could be good on stage. I'd either come first, second, or third all the time. And you'd get like, $300 to $500. And we're talking in the mid 90s or late 90s. That's a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so then I started stripping full time
Mm-hmm.
in Upland, California. And Selena Still was there feature dancing.
Okay.
And she saw me on stage and she was like, she has something nobody else here has. So I want to introduce her to the adult industry. And she pretty much said, here's how you go about doing this
Mm-hmm.
and who to call and what to do. And it was Clive McLean is pretty much who I started with
Okay.
photos.
Right.
And then Suze Randall. And then it went into movies right away.
Now, I was going to ask you about that. Suze Randall is someone I'm learning about through her daughter Holly,
Yes.
and the more I learn and hear interviews of Suze, the more I fall in love with her personality. She's one
Mm-hmm.
of those people who could really tell a story. I always remember she was talking about her and her husband were swingers, and they went back. They were in some club, and it was the first time she met Bill Cosby,
Oh,
and
shit.
and Sue's, she's got no filter. I mean, you know her
Oh no,
personally.
she never had a filter. No.
Yeah, she gives no fucks. And the first thing she said was, it makes no wonder why he drugged the drinks. He's ugly as sin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what made me fall in love with her. Do you have any interesting stories or interactions with her? While,
She shot me a lot. I was like one of her main girls in the late 90s, early 2000s. I
Hmm.
was definitely an it girl. And then when Holly started getting into it, actually, I think I might have been the very first photo shoot that Sue's had on her ranch.
Hmm.
It was with she had her horse and there's hay, and then we did a beach one where it made it look like I was coming out of the water with a net. But Holly had shot that, and I remember Sue's coming out and kind of helping her a little bit and then walking away and just
Hmm.
being like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool part of Sue's Randall history is I was watching that torch be passed down to her daughter live right
Hmm.
there. I may have been the first, layout that Holly did
Hmm.
complete without her mom. Because her mom literally was like, this is how you set this is this up. And she was gone. Suze was gone the rest of the shoot till the end. And it was really cool to see that and be a part of that. And I know it's porn history. So
Yeah, that is neat. And like I said, I'll tell people like if you're ever bored, just Google Suze Randall interviews. There's never an interview with her
just watch her
personality.
behind the scenes when she does our photo shoots.
Yeah,
It's
she's
amazing.
she's fucking hilarious,
She
and
is hilarious. And that's why I loved working with her. I absolutely fucking loved working with her. She was one of my favorite people the entire time I was ever in the adult industry. She's in like my top 5 people I absolutely loved. And I still love her to this day.
hmm was she just pictorials only, or did she also do films? That I'm not sure about.
Back in the day, she did film, I
Okay.
believe, but she was really into pictorials, and then she got into being one of the first women photographers, of hardcore. So I
Hmm.
always appreciated her for that. She was always a role model in the industry for women, but she just had the great personality of just fuck it,
Yeah.
and anything came out of her mouth. And I'm kind of the same way. I feel like she groomed me into that because as I've gotten older, I just don't give a fuck. I just say whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a reason why you and we get along so well
Yeah.
on X. We just don't care. I mean, we're roughly the same age. We really are,
Yeah.
and we're just
I think Gen X is just at that point where we're just like, we're so tired of everyone's bullshit. Shut the fuck up, you bunch of crybabies. Like, we're done hearing you whine about shit. Fucking
Mhm.
strap your boots up, get to work, and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Life sucks. Deal with it. And I
Yeah.
always tell my friends like to give me shit because I was born in '81, so I'm technically a millennial, but
Yeah.
I'm like I'm close enough to Gen X. I'm close enough to that generation, and I'm an honorary Gen X.
Yes.
Um, How did you go from pictorials to film? Was it just the stereotypical, "Hey, I like your work. Let's see what you can do on
Oh, it
film"
was
type of
just all
thing?
connections. And then I had somebody come out of the woodworks that was going to be my agent. And I mean, it worked out for me. We'll just call
Mhm.
him John Doe, but it wasn't really the John Doe,
Gotcha.
not that guy. But
Gotcha.
this guy was playing agent, and
Mhm.
he had met me on one of the sets. I think I can't really remember because it's been so long.
Mhm.
But he was like, "Oh, you can do shoots and blah blah blah, and I can hook you up with these shoots to go do." And one of them was with Peter North,
Mhm.
and then he also was like Ed Powers.
Okay.
But he tried to pull the but I have to fuck you on camera first to see how you look.
Right.
And I called him out. I was like, go fuck yourself, dude. I wasn't born yesterday. Like,
Uh-huh.
you're messing with the wrong chick to be pulling that shit on. I already know I'm great. I don't need you to fucking tell me. It's like I it's like you're an idiot.
Mhm.
And it was funny because he ended up booking me with Peter North, and he warned me like he has a big load, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
I did my very first scene with him, and after I did my first scene with him, Peter ran to the car and got my phone number, and we dated for almost 3 years. We were together
Right.
and lived together. And I told him about this so-called agent and what he had done
Mhm.
and was trying to hook up with me prior to the scene. And I remember him calling him and said, if you ever even look her way again, I will beat the shit out of you. Like, he went off on this guy,
Really?
like primal. And that was an aside that a lot of people saw of Peter North.
Right.
But he became very protective, and I was just like, holy shit, okay. So here we go. But that's how our relationship started out. And then, I worked with Ed Powers and Peter North all in the same day. So those were
Now,
my first movies.
I got a question with Ed Powers. Was that the one that Scotty Schwartz actually recorded?
Mhm. And
Yeah,
Scotty and I are still best friends to this day.
I talk to Scotty on occasion on Facebook. He's not on it as much as he used to, but he's a really fun, down to earth dude. So I
Yeah,
wanted to just
he's
make sure
cool. I
that he
mean,
got his little shout out here in this video too, because we've
yeah,
talked a lot.
yeah, I love him. He has my Hall of Fame award because that was the only
Hmm.
award I had left, and I gave it to him as safekeeping because I was like, I've lost everything else.
Hmm.
All my shit's disappeared through all my husbands because I've decided to be married 5 million times, and everybody took a trophy.
Hmm.
So I was like, this is all I have left. I'm giving it to you, Scotty, because I know with you,
Yeah.
you'll have it to the day you die.
Yeah.
So I did give him that. And he's one of those people where it doesn't matter what time of day I call him. If I
Hmm.
were to say, I need you to be at this place at this time, or I'm going to be, where are you? I need to be there too. Come pick me
Hmm.
up at the airport. There'd be zero questions asked. He'd be like, okay, give me your information. Be there.
Yeah.
End of story. He's so solid. And he's one of the only people I can say that about that have been solid in my life for that many years to this
Yeah.
day.
That's one thing again. Like I like about Scotty is he doesn't pull any punches either. He's
Yeah.
respectful, but he's also truthful. He'll tell you what he feels and what he thinks, and that's what I've always appreciated him.
Yeah.
Whether we're talking in public or personally, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And him and I have always just been really great friends and hung out together. I wish he lived closer, which he is going to move. I think he's moving
Hmm.
to Florida, or somewhere out here
Hmm.
in the South. And then he'll be closer to me. So I'll be able to actually go see him
That'll be cool.
instead of just texting and talking for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I have that friend. I have a friend that lives in South Carolina. We've been friends for like 25 years, and we've met in person once, and we still text to this day. So I trust.
Yeah.
I have my Scotty Schwartz. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Did you have a preference with pictorials or with film? Because one thing I've always been interested when I'm talking to a performer who did pictorials, that they're performing, they're having sex, but then the picture's taken, and then they have to sometimes pause to get the correct shot that the photographer wants. Did that kind of interrupt the mood, I guess you would say? Because I know the performers have to get into and have to have that connection. Did it ever ruin
Yeah,
that?
we get into it, but then you'd have to stop and take breaks because there'd be lighting adjustments
Mm-hmm.
or wardrobe or makeup. It was a lot more finicky than doing movies because you
Mm-hmm.
always had to look perfect,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're being fucked sideways.
Right.
Your makeup still had to be glowing and perfect. And I remember doing my pictorial with Nacho Vidal,
Mm-hmm.
Suze Randall for the 2000 Penthouse edition. And it was an anal scene, and it was like the first anal scene that had ever been shown in Penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Penthouse had hardcore, they've never did anal till then.
Right.
And Paula Jones was on the cover, so it was very popular edition. But Nacho and I had never worked together, so we
Mm-hmm.
got very animalistic.
Right.
And my makeup right away was just fucked. And I remember Lee Garland being like, "Oh, let's go do this bitch's makeup again," and have to go sit down and redo my whole face. And we went out there again, and then we were more calm.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended up being an elegant and most beautiful pictorial I've ever done. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorites.
Did you, with that aside, do you have a preference of film or pictorials, or
It's
was it
different.
it's
I
different?
like them both,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little harder when you're doing pictorials because, like I said, you have to be perfect. Where
Right.
film, you can just kind of go flow with it.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you're doing a big feature movie, now, if you're doing a big feature movie, that's when, if you start getting messed up, they will stop, fix you, and you do it, keep going from where you started, and they'll cut and break. The cutting and the breaking is very difficult on the men.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, and that's why they're the pros, and that's why they are who they are, is because they
Mm-hmm.
can do it. But when I first started, this was pre-Viagra.
Mm-hmm.
Viagra didn't come out till a few years later, and that made it a lot easier. But yeah, doing the pictorials was very, very difficult because there'd be times where you would have an hour break in between setting up different shots.
Hmm.
So it was very time consuming. A pictorial day is going to be a minimum of 8 hours.
Jeez.
Feature films would be 8 to 12 hours, even 14 hours.
Hmm.
But Gonzo movies, in and out of there, I'd be in and out a couple hours. And the way I would shoot when I was producing and directing, I already knew what to do because I'd
Hmm.
been on the other side of the camera, you
Hmm.
know. So you don't overshoot. And I had a problem with people who overshot too, because then they would make 2 or 3 different scenes out of it. They'd make a
Hmm.
blowjob movie of it, or
Hmm.
they would make a this of it or that.
Hmm.
They'd break it up and you got paid for one, but they're being paid for 3. And that's when the shit I was just like, mm. And that's when I decided to produce and direct and own my own company because I was not going to be a part of the everyone else making money off of me and not me making money off of me.
It kind of makes me think of like when Vicky Vett stopped doing the, the Naughty America and all that type of stuff, and she has her own company now, so she can get all the profits from her
Right,
work. You know what I mean? And
right,
I mean, it's like with a, we can bring up Scotty Schwartz, and he doesn't get a lot of residuals, if any, from big movies that he's been in. You guys in the adult industry, you basically got zero, to
oh,
my
nothing.
knowledge. And
Yeah,
now they could just go to Pornhub or whatever they want and watch your scenes for free, and sometimes the entire film.
right. And that's why OnlyFans and loyal fans and those
Hmm.
type of places are so popular because girls are just creating their own content. And if you have your favorite star, that's where you go to watch
Yeah.
because
Is
we
that
own it. And but it's not the elaborate, it's not the same. It's not like it was back in the 90s and 2000s where it was porn was great, you know.
right?
It was definitely a golden era that's going to be missed but never forgotten.
And I'm not just saying this to kiss your butt. I think 95 to when you started to maybe like 2003 2004. That's the last time, in my opinion, when I thought porn was great,
Right.
because everyone had a name.
Right.
I'm not just talking about the big ones like Jenna Jameson. Everyone knew who like Stacey Valentine was.
Right.
Melissa Hill, Serenity. Jewel Nyle. Everyone. You just looked at the person and you knew who they were as a performer.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's, lack of a better term, a dime a dozen. You
It
know
is
what
a
I
dime a
mean?
dozen. There's nothing, there's no glamour, there's no it lost its luster. It really
Yeah.
did. The shine is gone. And when that happened, I'm like a unicorn. I'm the last of the big greats that were
Yeah.
around, the Tara Patricks, the Jenna Jamesons, me, Serenity, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
We were contract girls. We were big deals. And we
Mm-hmm.
had studios, or like me, I put a lot of money back into myself,
Right.
um, and made my own brand. And also gave other performers the creativity and the freedom to produce and direct their own way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of barriers were broken, but it didn't come without sacrifice. Like
Right.
I ended up losing my company
Mm-hmm.
because I went into business with the wrong people. But when you bite the hand that feeds you, it never works out. And
Right.
it never did work out. Everything just kind of crashed and burned. But I knew it was going to anyway because I retired in 2004, made a quick little comeback, did a fetish movie in 2007, but it was nothing, you know, too hardcore.
Right.
And then I never performed again. But my last real hardcore movie that I did was in 2004 because all of a sudden I saw where the industry was going.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody with a camera was picking it up a camera and doing it. And then I was like, now there's safety concerns
Mm-hmm.
because this small circle of us is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now you're having people from anywhere and everywhere picking up cameras doing our industry. And it got so saturated. Like when something sits underwater for so long, it loses its shine and they
Mm-hmm.
drowned themselves in it.
Right. Yeah, and it really is. It's a dime a dozen. They're all like I was watching one of your I think it was your interview with Jasmine, and I think nowadays it's just the blonde. I hate to say blonde bimbos, but it is. You know what I mean? That's the look and everything. And you and I think it was you and Selena Steele won for best girl, and I think you said you went up to the podium and
Sydney
you
Steele. Yeah.
Sydney Steele,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you said thanks for choosing two brunettes,
Because it
to
was
win the award.
rarity.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Even back when I was doing it was rare for, to be dark haired and popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but me and Sydney Steele were very popular.
Yeah. When you moved into directing, were you still performing in front of the camera, or is it
Oh, yeah.
strictly directing?
I did both.
Now, I'm going to ask now, how hard is that as a director while you also have to be a performer? Because, when it comes to pornography, the specific shots count. You know what I mean? That's where the entertainment value is. Was it hard to, did you literally just set up a camera and just like, hey, pray to God that it looks good? Or did you have an assistant
No,
director?
I had a full crew.
Okay.
And it was either my ex-husband, Michael Stefano,
Mm-hmm.
or Claudio.
Okay.
And we would, set up everything. And they did the camera. Claudio did the editing. And then Claudio later taught me how to do camera. And I would do some of the camera work myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I learned everything pretty much through Claudio. And then my ex-husband, Michael Stefano, who worked at Extreme before, who shot and did stuff over there. So then when we did Platinum X Pictures, we pretty much had a system down. And when I was directing, if someone was shooting a scene with me, I would go over the entire scene. I'd say, we're going to start out with doing A, B, and C. And then we're going to transition to this, this, and this. If we have to stop, we have to stop, in case there's cleanup or wood problems, whatever. Somebody needs a drink, whatever, we stop. But I always tried to keep going straight through. Because I knew when you stopped, you kind of lose that enthusiasm in a scene. And as a performer, I knew the stamina is important. So when I would shoot, I wouldn't overshoot talent. Because I knew I would get the best out of them, even though I was still going to pay them the same they would make if they were on a 16-hour, 15-hour feature shoot. They were still going to make the same amount of money being on my set from the time they got there to the time they left for 2 hours. And only about 45 minutes of filming. The rest is all prep.
Oh, wow.
Because I knew I'm just going to let them go. And you got the best performances that way because everybody's energized and they're being paid well. And they know they're not going to be overworked. So they're not trying to conserve that energy. They know with me, it was balls to the wall, go for it, give me everything you got, because I'm not going to, sit around and watch you be boring. I can't handle that myself because I'm not a boring performer. And if you're in a scene with me, people knew, oh, today's going to be a big day working with me because I'm a handful, and I always was a handful. So they knew they had to be on top of their game especially if I was in the scene and directing, because it was going to be very fast paced. But that's just how I rolled, because I knew I could get the best out of everyone.
With what happened to your company, I know it's a real negative experience. Did you ever, aside from the one fetish video you did with Shelly Martinez, did you ever consider at least going back behind the camera, or was that just sour grapes? You're done. You wash your hands type of thing.
I would, but demographically where I'm at, it wouldn't really be worth it. For the studios to be like, hey, let me fly you out to Vegas or Los Angeles or Florida just to come film. But I would definitely produce and direct. But it would definitely be the old school, the way I did it, fast paced, more erotic, more in tune with each other than just a blank slate staring there like nothing behind the eyes. Like, you better come to my set ready to go with fire in your eyes. I don't want to see just a blank stare, because that's not going to work for me. And that's too much porn today is just, there's nothing there. There's no substance.
That's what's kind of like what Ginger Lynn likes to say sometimes, back in her day and your day, the performers would meet before the scene. They would get to know each other. They would you guys would bullshit. And then nowadays, like she did her comeback and everybody's on their fucking phone and stuff like that. There's no connection.
We didn't have phones. We sat around and talked for hours. We all got to know each other.
Yeah, you remember those days? Yeah.
Like, we're the communicators.
Yeah. it's again, it's the generation, and sadly, it is
I
what it
have
is.
people tell me you should be a public speaker. You communicate so good. I'm like, no, I'm Gen X. We know how to talk and communicate because we didn't have fucking cell phones.
Exactly. You
That's all we
know,
knew how to do.
yeah. When we were bored, we went outside and played in the dirt
Yeah.
and
And we
shit like
made
that.
shit up.
Exactly. You know, um, here's what. Well, I'm going to ask one more question because you did both features and Gonzo scenes. Was there a preference? I mean, did you? Because no offense, some of those features are really fucking goofy. You know what I mean? Did you have
Oh, yeah.
fun? Did you
I
have more
loved
fun
it when
doing
they were
those, or
corny.
the? Oh, those are the best ones.
Yeah,
Those
I
are the
loved
best
it.
ones.
Like I
Did you
did
prefer?
this Amish one with Dylan Day, and then it's like is it Amish daughters or Amish something? I can't remember off the top of my head, but where I play this Amish woman, and underneath I've got this bondage outfit and just rip it off and we go crazy. It is so ridiculous, but it was so funny. And just the name of some of them,
Oh yeah.
I would laugh. And it was mostly Jerome Tanner from
Hmm.
Pleasure because I worked
Yeah.
a lot with him. Him and I were just like this. He put
Hmm.
me, if he could put me in every single movie, he would, and every cover he would have. And he even told me that he was like, if I could have you for everything, I would. He's like, but Pleasure doesn't want you being on every cover.
Right.
But I was in a lot of his movies. I mean, a lot. And they were corny as hell, but they were so much fun.
I think that adds to the enjoyability because it's like that joke. I read Playboy for the articles type of
Right.
bullshit. We know you're watching porn for the sex, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. If I was watching something really fucking goofy and cheesy, I'm gonna actually not necessarily fast forward because I I love goofy shit.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of trash, air quotes, trash horror movies. Stuff
Yes,
like
me
that.
too. I love
The
it.
the fun factor. So I could always appreciate, and you could kind of tell, like you guys knew you weren't the best actors. You know what I mean? You're hired to
Oh
have
yeah.
sex, not act. But you could always tell, like a lot of the goofy fucking shit, you guys were having more fun. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But
And
we
I
were
think
also
that
acting bad on purpose
uh-huh.
because it was so corny and it was supposed to be corny and bad, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Oh
Because
yeah.
when you were on a Wicked set, that didn't fly.
Oh, okay.
Like when you were in a Wicked movie and it was a serious, your acting skills had better be up to par and you better look like a fucking soap opera or you didn't make it. Like, yeah, that was a whole other ball game. So you kind of had to be a triple threat.
Uh-huh.
You had to fuck, you'd better know how to act in front of the camera, but you also had to be a comedian
Hmm.
because there's a lot of comedy in porn. We would make fun of ourselves in a lot of the shit we did.
Oh yeah.
And people don't understand that. Like you have to have some sort of comedic timing to be in,
Hmm.
well, my generation of porn.
Right. Yeah. And that's something I always appreciated. And one, this is gonna probably be, unless I think of something off the top of my head, the last adult film stuff, and then we'll get into what you and I usually
Real
talk
life.
about. Yeah, real life, because again, it's been 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
You were married to Michael Stefano. We all know you were with Peter North. You don't have to say specific. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, because it's a relationship thing. Was there always problems being in a relationship with an adult film star and watching them act with another performer?
No, because we would direct each other
Oh,
a lot
okay.
of times. And I would go on set with Peter North. In the beginning, it was really weird when we first started dating. It was like I didn't know there was unspoken rules, but apparently there was, and I got in trouble by him for doing a few things I shouldn't have done that he didn't like on camera. I was like, "What the fuck? We're doing porn." I didn't get that, but
Okay.
yeah. And then later, I guess he broke me into where I got so jaded of just watching your other partner fuck. It wasn't a big deal. And the time I was married to Michael Stefano, shit, we were on set with each other all the time.
Mhm.
It didn't mean it. It
Just
was just like, oh, we're going to work, and then after work, where do you want to go eat?
yeah, just another day in the office.
Just
We'll see
another
you.
day at the
You'll see you
office,
at
no big
5.
deal.
Yeah.
Right. It
Okay.
was not a big deal at all.
One thing I like to talk to you about on X a lot when we're not talking adult film stuff is you're big into music. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like a hard rock chick, and that's
Yeah.
I grew up. again, like I said, we're pretty close in age. We grew up with the same music. If I put you on the spot right now, could you throw out your top 5 favorite or usual go-to hard rock bands or artists, just off the top of your head? Like, what's constantly in Jewel
In,
Denial's playlist?
in this moment,
Okay.
definitely Dorothy,
Oh, okay.
Hailstorm.
I I've been in love with Lizzie Hale ever since that debut album. So yeah, trust me, good choice there.
Yeah, I mean, Skillet,
I like Skillet.
uh, Jen Wigmore.
I've never heard of Gin Wigmore.
Oh yeah, she older, but she's got this song in the still of the night. She's got this really raspy, bluesy, deep voice, but rock and roll too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I love Jen Wigmore. Like her voice is just very sultry,
Yeah.
deep, and just gritty.
Yeah, I'm still stuck in the late 80s, 90s with my bands,
Oh, I
Guns N'
love that
Roses.
too. Don't get me wrong, I love that shit.
Yeah, I'm a Guns N' Roses kid. They're my
Oh,
number
for
one.
sure.
Alice Cooper, Iron
Yep.
Maiden,
Yep.
Wasp. I love Wasp. I'm still kicking myself in the ass that I didn't get to see them handful of months ago, and they're literally fucking 40 minutes from my house. I'm
Oh,
still
that's
regretting it.
crazy. You know who my
Yeah.
first I would say big hair rock band was, and I was like 9 or 10 years old, and the very first poster I hung on my door
Hmm.
was Cinderella. I
Oh,
was in love with Tom Kiefer. Oh my god, I just loved him. He was my first crush.
Patrick is in the chat. He says Jen Whitmore is great. I'll tell you what. I'll say it's the last. And it's great you mentioned them because Dokken is also in my top bands. I love Dokken. Before everything went to shit with COVID, the last concert I went to was Dokken, and it was headlined by Tom Kiefer.
Oh, fuck
And
yeah.
it was some of the most great things. Like, we're in this old Regal theater, and Don Dawkins, he's kind of like Vince when he's on, like Vince Neil when he's on. He's on. When he's having an off day, you guys are gonna feel it. So it
Right.
was great when the guy was showing us to our seats. He says, "You guys are lucky you hit Don on a great day." So
Oh,
that
good.
was, yeah, that was a fantastic concert. He can't hit the high notes anymore, but
Right. Well, when you get older, your voice gets deeper.
yeah,
It just
and
changes.
it was still a fantastic show. And then Tom Kiefer came out and he did some solo stuff, from his solo career, and he did some Cinderella. He had everyone in the palm of his hand. It was probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to, and I've been to quite a few. He, again, like I said, it was, pre-COVID. It was like a handful of months before everything
I
shut down.
still
But
have like Nobody's Fool
uh-huh.
on my playlist.
Yeah.
It comes in
Uh
my car
see, my
because
my
it's a great
go-to.
fucking song.
I'm a sucker for the ballad, so you don't know what you got till it's gone. But my
Oh
favorite,
yeah, that one's awesome too. Love it.
my go-to is Gypsy Road. I love
Gypsy
that
Rose,
one.
fantastic.
That's a great one. And then huge Iron Maiden and Ramones fan too. So it's again, it's a kind of like your generation of film. It's just like a missed generation of music because
Yeah.
nowadays it's all auto tune. It's all
I don't
hot.
even consider it music. I consider it visual stimulation and
Yeah.
nothing more because it's not music.
No,
There's
it's not
nothing
music.
behind it. Like I said, that luster
Hmm.
is gone.
Yeah.
It's saturated market.
Hmm.
Um, there's no feeling. It's just let me put out something catchy and poppy and make the most money as I can. And there's
It's like
so many
fast food.
one-hit wonders
Yeah.
nowadays that it's like unless you're Taylor Swift where everyone knows who the fuck she is, um, there's no more hers being made.
Right.
That's like with the
Right.
music industry, like they're around now and it's so quick, the
Hmm.
turnaround. There's
Yeah.
no big, huge stars that have staying power. That shit
Right.
is gone. And
Yeah.
movie stars too. AI is
Yeah.
going to replace them. What the fuck you need movie stars for when AI can do it?
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm on Twitter or Instagram, and I'm scrolling through, and a lot of that AI shit is looking really good. You know
It
what I
is.
mean?
It's
It's
getting to
hard
the
to
point to
tell.
where you're not going to be able to tell. It's nuts. It freaks me out a little bit, but I'm like, whatever. It is what it is.
Right. And I'm in, the wrestling world, and stuff like that. So, I like a lot of wrestling things on Instagram. So I'll get that AI wrestling stuff in my feed. And it's like people that have been dead for 20 fucking years. And
Yeah.
it looks scarily just like them. You know
I
what I
just
mean?
saw a Price is Right AI thing that was fucking hilarious. And I was like, wow, I wonder what Bob Barker would actually think of this. Like,
Yeah.
because he's cussing in it and it's showing
Uh-huh.
people like it was pretty volatile, but it was hilarious at the same time. Like this old woman, she won a casket, like that was her big prize. And I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck?
It,
I'm
you
just
know,
like, AI is crazy, this stuff, but it looked super real and it sounds just like that person.
That's I know, and that's it's what's it's half scary and it's half entertaining and it
Right.
serves its purpose. But I understand why like actors are going to be worried about, hey, we're out
Mhm.
of a job. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
what would you think? Like, let's just say AI was coming out when you were in the business. Was that something you would be concerned about? Because it's just like so easy and it's so cheap.
If I owned it and everything that had my image or my AI character made money, then it would just be a business.
Okay.
But yeah, it's nothing beats the real thing though. I mean, they can try to imitate it until they perfect it completely,
Mm-hmm.
because you can still tell it's AI.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's only going to be a couple years, maybe not even that, to where you won't be able to tell. And I think that right there freaks me out because
It
you're going to have fraudsters that are going to use it to manipulate
Oh
people
yeah.
and to
I
scare
mean,
people.
and you know what? We're not going to get into politics because that's a can of worms I don't want it to open up
Nah,
right now. It's not
our
worth it.
generation is kind of like the big fuck you generation. We don't care. So,
Exactly. But with AI, it's now you don't know what to believe, and
right.
I think both sides
Yeah.
use it, deal with it. You don't know really what to believe
I
unless you're
think people are
literally
going to
watching
start
it live on television.
I think people are going to start tuning out technology and going back to the old ways is what's going to happen because they're already doing these very successful parties in New York where people have absolutely no technology. And there
Hmm.
are these huge parties like of 800 people it's grown to where they
Hmm.
go in absolutely free of any devices, where
Hmm.
they have to mingle and dance and talk. And this other generation, they want that.
Absolutely.
They're trying to bring that back. And there's also like they do clubs where these kids sit around and they talk without any devices because they're realizing it's getting to be too much and they're becoming antisocial. They can't carry a conversation.
Right.
They're awkward as fuck and they're trying to figure it out and they're realizing like you can't just be behind your screen all day. And I think as AI evolves, it's going to push people away because people are going to be like, we want to see with our own eyes the real world and not this bullshit you're feeding us. So I think it's
Right.
going to actually cut people off from engaging more.
Hmm.
I think we're at the peak engagement right now, and I think we're going to see that falling off because the next generation wants to be more in tune with one another instead of being so tuned out. And that's why we have all this crime problems is because they don't have any consequences and they don't have any feelings. They don't have any emotional
Yeah.
boundaries. They don't have any emotions at all because they've been sitting behind a screen all day. And
It's all
it's
fake.
sad to watch.
Yeah, I call this generation. I hate to say, I'm a father. A lot of it is just, they're zombies. They're tuned in to that world. When you
Yeah.
guys, if you just put it down, open the window, look outside, there is this vast world out there. Go for a
Right.
walk, read a fucking book. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That type of thing.
Yes. Go for a walk, breathe, talk to your friends. Don't just sit there and text all day. Go
Yeah,
see them. Go meet for lunch. Go do something with them. Go to the park. Anything.
exactly.
Talk.
Yeah.
Interact with one another because people have lost that art and it's sad. But I do feel when AI starts get taken over, it's going to be like, your loners and stuff that the kids or whatever that would have a hard time making friends anyway. It's going to be their crutch. But the other
Hmm.
generation that wants to have no crutches and that wants to live in a free society is going to walk
Hmm.
away from that shit fast.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be as tuned in as they are right now. I think this is peak
Yeah.
right now where people are tuned in and they're going to start pushing that shit aside when they realize, like, I don't want some fucking robot controlling my entire life. I'm like, duh, Gen X, we grew up with Terminator. We know what the fuck happens.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
wake up.
We're waiting for Skynet to be
Yeah.
self-sufficient. Wake up.
Like, we already knew this shit. Like, we're
Yeah.
fucking prophets, you know?
Okay, I got a question for you. Now, how does someone go from dancing and stripping to pictorials to film to directing to beekeeping?
Well, I don't beekeep anymore, but I did.
Okay.
It got too hard on my body.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I did do it for 3 years.
Okay.
And it's commercial beekeeping, and it was a lot. But now we have the apiary, but we have workers, and my husband's even semi-retired. Like, he pretty much points fingers now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you evolve in your business, right? You're
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah. He was the
But
performer and now he's the director. That's what it is.
yeah. So we have a wonderful life, and we live in a beautiful 300-acre estate, and can't complain. And he does
Yeah.
OnlyFans with me. He's the one who told me to do OnlyFans. He was like, "Hey, look at this platform. You're famous. You need to do this. I'll do it with you." And I was like, "Huh?" So the
Yeah.
world owes him a debt of gratitude that I even made a comeback, because otherwise I never would have. Because
Bless you,
I
sir.
didn't even hardly do social media
Right. I remember
at
that you
all.
were
I
right.
disappeared for 13 years. People did not know where I was.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what happens with a lot of your generation of performers when you
Mhm.
guys retire. If you're not one of the,
We got
I'm
married,
gonna,
had babies, we had
yeah,
families, and just went on about our lives. And now that the kids are grown and gone, it was like, what?
well, what can we do? Okay, I guess OnlyFans. You know what I mean?
Well, 2020 hit, and that's when we were like, fuck, let's just do
Yeah,
this.
I'm a podcaster. I'm not doing OnlyFans, so I'll just do podcasting. It
Right.
works for you guys, and like I said, that was kind of cool because from your generation, whether it's like a lot of people who do retire, like Lisa Ann and Brittany Andrews, they always come back. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
wrestling. Everybody retires 5 or 6 times. You were gone for social media. Did you just kind of just wash your hands of everything? You didn't want people to know who you are, because I know you're immensely proud of that part of your life. But did you just want to kind of wash your hands and just start new?
It was just a different life once you have kids.
Okay.
So that's all that was, is the focus became different.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very much a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And I believed firmly in it was crazy that, yes, I'm a porn star, but I had a lot of family values that I raised,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be home. I didn't want the state raising my children.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and I was fortunate enough to be in a financial situation where I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got divorced. Kids are grown. And now I'm with a man that's 4 years younger than me. And he's very successful, but still live in the same town.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. But that's how I ended up here. Is crazy. How I ended up in the South.
Well, that's what I was because again, I was doing the research. You had a YouTube channel that you used to do stuff on, and I love how it's just
I
you
need
on
to
your
do more of my YouTube channel. I let it die off. I haven't done anything in over a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to the point to where I was like, I don't know what I want to talk about anymore.
See, that's what's a lot of people don't realize is it's I don't want to say it's hard work, but it's hard work. Just sitting and talking
I
by
can sit
yourself
and
for
talk
like
to
an hour.
myself for hours and into a screen, no problem. But it just got to the point of, if I don't find it interesting, I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've
And
talked about all the things I thought were interesting already. And
mm-hmm.
until there's any more life changes or anything that happens that I feel like expressing, then I'll put another video up. I think the
One thing
last
that
one is when I gave my mother forgiveness, which I usually don't talk about her, but I will on
right.
this. And that was my last YouTube video, is just because she's very sick.
Mhm.
and I get asked about her quite a bit. But that's all I tell people is because I don't feel
Yeah.
it's any of their business because she's
Right.
terminally ill.
Mhm.
And I just kind of leave it at that. But I did
Absolutely.
feel like her fans and stuff deserve to know because I get asked constantly, what happened to your mom, blah, 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 blah. And we'd been on bad terms for so many years, but you were finally at peace and
Mhm.
she's sick. And I'm just one of those people that you don't punish somebody who's already being punished.
Mhm.
Like karma comes for everyone.
Yeah.
And once
That's
she comes for you, it's no longer a place in my heart to hate you
Mhm.
because you've come full circle and now you have to deal with, what you had coming to you.
Right.
So it's
Uh,
just how can you hate any more of that? Because you
right.
see karma happening right before you and you kind of just wash your hands of it and you
Mhm.
trust the process of forgiveness. And that's just how
Mhm.
I went about that.
I will say this, I did appreciate a lot of the videos you did, well, you've always been open, but how open you were on that channel because it wasn't just X or, doing
Mhm.
a podcast with Jasmine or something like that. This was you for anybody,
Right.
to see.
Everything on there was just me talking about because I'd been gone for so long.
Right.
And it
Mhm.
was just me going on there being just who I am, genuine, talking about this is the shit I loved about my career. This is the shit I didn't like about my career. This is the shit I liked about my life. This is all the shitty husbands I've had. This is where
Mhm.
I'm at now.
Mhm.
Just kind of filling in the gaps for the last 13 years that I was gone. So people would be like, what happened in between A and B?
Right.
Because all of a sudden I come back, and at the time I was about 35 pounds heavier. I've lost all my weight. I had short hair, and
Mhm.
I'm covered in tattoos.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I had married a tattoo artist who worked at Miami Ink. We had kids, and wasn't planning on doing adult anymore because I had a lot of fans that were very offended that I had tattoos, and I was like, I don't give a fuck if you're offended.
Yeah, it's your body,
Excuse
you know?
me, I had retired. I never planned on you seeing me again. So it's a
Right.
privilege that you're even getting to see me again if
Right.
you're a true fan.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're a troll. Please fuck off.
Right.
Because I don't care what you have to say if I'm 35 pounds heavier or 40 pounds heavier and now I'm skinny again. Like I'm skinnier now than I was in my entire porn career.
Mhm.
And all I did was change my diet. That
I
was
had a
it.
question
I didn't use
about.
the fat shot. I didn't use none of that. I just went
Mhm.
organic and non-GMO. That was
Mhm.
it. And the weight fell off and I stopped eating fast food.
I got a question because you are heavily tattooed and it's all around
Oh yeah.
your body. Were they just random? Like, hey, that sounds cool. Is there any specific tattoo that has like a specific meaning to
Well, the one on
you?
my thigh, my beekeeper one,
Mm-hmm.
um, that one. And then not really everything else was just traditional tattoos that I thought were cool because
Okay.
I like traditional tattoos, but my beekeeper one was my one that was part of my career, like
Okay.
a career that was very unusual that I wanted to remember
Yeah.
forever because I feel like being an apiary and being a beekeeper and doing my part for the world, because without
Mm-hmm.
bees, we're fucked.
Right.
Um, it was something I was very proud of because it was not something very many women do is commercial beekeeping because that shit's hard as fuck.
Yeah, I can only imagine that you got a couple videos of you in
Yeah.
action on your channel. And how heavy is that suit that you were the beekeeper's outfit?
It's between the heat and the suit and then the back breaking work because some of those boxes are 70 pounds, which I could never lift those. But if they were 40 or 50 pounds, I was lifting them.
Yeah.
And you're doing that for 6 to 8 hours a day.
7 days a
So
week?
I was beefy, but I wasn't fucking fat. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And then it just got to the point where, as you get older, my shoulders and my back, everything, I was like, I can't handle
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
anymore because it's so much lifting and it's back breaking work. And you have to go early in the morning because you don't want to go. You can't beekeep at night here. They
Mhm.
crawl on you and snakes and everything else. So you get up early and then you go before it gets too hot. There's a lot of
Right.
variables. So after a few years of it, my body was just like, bitch, no. Like, no.
You're done. It's time to be done.
You're done, or you're going to end up having back surgery. And I'm like, no, this is a young person's game.
It's a lot
So now we
easier.
just point fingers at the young beekeepers, and
Exactly.
that's how it goes.
One question that I because you were in like at least the early part of your career, maybe your entire career, you're in California, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, how do you go, or how much of a culture shock is it from all those years in California to now living you called it yourself the dirty South,
Mm-hmm.
where you've had posts on X where you just look out your window and there's a fucking bear just walking across like your backyard. Right. Or one of my favorite videos of yours is I don't know which one you were talking about. You literally you're swatting bugs and stuff like that, but literally you have to pause like every 5 seconds because you said the rednecks are busy shooting their guns.
They're like, my neighbors, they were just shooting a little bit ago. And I was like, man, I hope they're done before I start the podcast, because they were just shooting right next to the house. And I mean, it was so loud, it sounded like cannons. I was like, it's going to sound like Civil War down here. And it's ridiculous. And earlier they were doing their semi-automatic. Like, and I'm just like, okay, here we go. But yeah,
was it a big culture?
I mean, it's no big difference. Take a drive down Compton. I mean, if you went to Compton on a fucking Saturday, it would have been no different. But
right, but like the busy life of California, and now you're in the deep woods.
This is like I'm on a compound. Yeah. In the middle of fucking nowhere, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere. See, that's what people don't understand. I grew up in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains on a 300-acre horse ranch.
Really?
Very isolated.
Okay.
And there was a reason for that. Is because my stepdad was a politician. He was also chief of the parole board of Colorado. So I was a very huge target.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So growing up with that, that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is fascinating that I've learned about. And one of the things I'm really into, like if I don't know how much time you still got, but you explained this, there's like 4 videos on your YouTube channel, is you are also very interested in like the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
And you yourself has had some paranormal experiences. And I believe in that shit too.
I've had ghost shit happen where I'm just like, there's no fucking way you can explain that. None.
Can you give one experience that you're willing to share? Because I know you once said like you had like your first paranormal experience like at the age of 10 or something like that.
Yes, and it was scary, and it was the fedora wearing man standing over me in my bed.
And that sounds like, if you guys are new to like the world of paranormal, that sounds to me like you can Google shadow men. It's literally
exactly 100%.
People in the shadow. Yeah.
That was my first experience, and it was so terrifying. I slept on my parents' floor for 6 months in a sleeping bag.
Yeah. Those experiences, have that kind of gotten you into like, I personally don't believe the TV shows. I think that's all bullshit.
No.
Have you ever like at least like seeked out supposed haunted places, or have wanted to go to supposed haunted places just to test this, or is that?
I went to Scotland, and I was like, take me to all these castles. I got to see this shit. Like,
really?
We went there a couple of years ago in Edinburgh. I went on all the haunted tours. I went into the underground. I went to the cemeteries there, the Greyfriar Bobby Cemetery, which is where J.K. Rowling got her characters and the names for her books for Harry Potter. I went there and saw that.
Okay.
And they have one part of the cemetery that is actually locked off because people were getting scratched and hurt and like having demonic things happen to them. And it's where they kept a lot of prisoners and starved them during the winter. And I don't know, Scotland's winter would be, it was like the prisoners area would have been rough.
Oh yeah.
To make it. Yeah. And they pretty much it was a bad area with a lot of violence in this particular part of the kirkyard. And so they have it blocked off to the public now. And you can't even go there because it's so bad. And I believe that. I'm just like, yep, I'm good. I mean, I took pictures through the gate, just to
Right.
see it because it's fascinating. But Scotland
Mhm.
is amazing. If you love anything paranormal or ghost story like, go there. Go to Edinburgh and just do everything you can ghost related.
See, I've always like, because I'm in Illinois, and we've got a couple haunted like hospitals and stuff like that, and there's that
Well,
little bit of
Peoria's
me.
got the big mental institution there that's haunted.
Yeah, and I think I'm about 40 minutes to an hour from Peoria, because I'm an hour west of Chicago. That's where
See,
I'm at.
I'm from Galesburg. That's where my family's from, and Gilson.
Illinois?
Hmm.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know you
my
were originally from
family
Illinois.
is from Gilson and Galesburg. I was born in
Okay.
Galesburg.
All right. Yeah, I've always wanted to, because like I said, I'm a believer of that shit, because I've had weird things, I've heard voices. My wife has heard, like, now when she was pregnant, sometimes the mind, fucks with you, but she swears, and I heard it too. So it can't just be pregnancy mind. We
Right.
swear one night we heard the whisper of the word mommy towards us as we're just laying in bed and watching TV. There's been times when, like, you can explain it with a battery. Like, sometimes when our daughter was real young, she had like a little remote control car, and it
Right.
hasn't been touched for like 2 days, but then we have the video footage. It just starts moving. You know what I
Yeah, see,
mean?
that shit's crazy.
And that shit scares the fuck out of me. And a lot of people say, okay, the battery, sure, whatever, but it hasn't moved for like 3 or 4 fucking days. And that's the stuff that really creeps me out. My daughter once had this little like Fisher Price octopus where you would put balls in,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
tentacles, and they would come out. It'd laugh at you, type of bullshit. And it would just out of the blue during the middle of the day. My daughter hasn't touched it in 2 or 3 days. The laugh just starts happening.
Yep, can't do it.
And yeah,
Nope.
that
Those
shit
toys
scares
go in
the.
the trash.
We got rid of that fucking octopus. Trust me, that went into the
In the
closet.
trash.
And I've always believed this stuff because my mom was a big believer. And when I was younger, she was a drinker. They smoked pot. It was that generation. I figured, mom and dad were just drunk and high, but they messed with the Ouija board once, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
swear they had, those old coffee tables that were really wooden, and they had the door on the side where you put
Fuck
like
yes,
books,
yes,
shit
yes. And
like
they're like
that.
octagon shaped.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
They're like stop signs. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
brown stop signs with it, and they
We all
swear
had that. Yeah.
yeah. I think we literally we still had one, and when we moved, we had to get rid of it just for like space wise. I really wanted to keep it just because it's so
Yeah, because
old.
it's vintage now. Shit.
Yeah, and they swear they were drinking and fucking around with a Ouija board, and they put the Ouija board in that drawer, and then just like an hour later, they heard knocking from the inside,
Yeah,
and
you don't
they
fuck
both.
with Ouija boards, man. That shit is like no bueno.
Yeah, my dad, because my dad verified the story, and he says he took that Ouija board, he ran outside shirtless, he literally just in his jeans and no socks. He chucked that into the back of his pickup truck. He drove by the city dump and he just frisbeed it over
Yep.
the fence. And ever since then, I've always believed that stuff. That shit scares me, but there's also that little bit of me that wants to just go by that hospital in Peoria. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just like visit it. And because I want to experience it because of all the fake shit we see on TV, ghost hunters is bullshit. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
live in the Appalachian Mountains and there's weird shit here.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I have seen,
Mm-hmm.
hmm, this is going to sound so crazy. But my
Go
daughter
ahead.
was with me at the time and she was small. We saw an Indian man dressed in like old Indian clothes just standing there staring at us, and he looked as real as you and I. And
Really?
then about 20 minutes later, we hear drums, just drums. And this is
Uh-huh.
at my ex-husband's property. And she heard it. And the only reason I knew it wasn't me is because she could see it too.
Really?
And she was about, I'm going to say 7-ish. And we saw this Indian and then it was gone. And then the drums, I was like, do you hear that? And she was like, yeah, I hear that. And we were just sat on the
Mm-hmm.
porch listening to it. And then it was just gone as fast. But it was a weird feeling, man. It was so weird. The Appalachian Mountains they're just a very ancient,
Mm-hmm.
mystical, the oldest rainforest. here where I
Okay.
live. It is crazy, and there's lots of Indian mounds. We have an Indian mound place here that's famous that people drive by and take pictures of it, and in Sati, Georgia, because the Trail of Tears started here.
Mm-hmm.
There's an incredible amount of Appalachian history here, and it's nuts. The
Yeah.
things that you see if you go walk in the dark here, it's just if you just listen.
That's see that's both for me, like I said, very cool and also very fucking
Go
spooky.
camping in this part of the country in North Georgia. Go camping and just listen because these are ancient forests, and it is just a different feeling that I can't explain that you get because you can feel, I guess, the energy of how old it is
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Just the ground, everything is just very, very, very I would say steeped in mysticism, and so is the culture here.
Okay.
Now, the culture, the Appalachian people, my husband being one of them, he's fifth generation.
Oh, really?
They are a
Okay.
different breed of people,
Really?
and they are very, very different in their traditions. And it's as American as you can get, but there is things that you shake your head and you think, wow, this is so foreign to me
Mm-hmm.
because they're a very quiet culture too.
Yeah, it's just like a whole nother world for you.
Oh, yeah. Like his family was famous for pottery, which is the Metters family pottery, which is even in the Smithsonian.
Really?
That's his lineage. And I have some of these potteries. They're the face jugs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're crazy. And what they would do is they made these face jugs, crazy looking face jugs in an old Appalachian um, folklore. They would sit them on the porches to keep the evil
Mm-hmm.
spirits away from the
Mm-hmm.
house. That's how they come about. Like they have a lot of mysticism and weird cultural things here too. And his family is like one of the biggest families, the Metters family. His dad's mom was a Metter,
Okay.
and that's a famous pottery family. And yeah, and they have priceless pottery that's just amazing. And then what's crazy here is we went down to one of the creeks that go down into the river, and we found a huge clay pit.
Really?
So I was like, okay, so they had that accessible. So that's how this all
Uh-huh.
started. Yeah.
See, that's what I love. Like I've always been fascinated with the supernatural and even Native American history because of all the spirits that they believe in and stuff like
Right.
that.
Between the
It,
Native American stuff and the Appalachian culture here and the face jugs, and I think there's a movie called Jug Face even that they
there
made
is. I
about it.
actually I have it in my Tubi queue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like his family is the one who made those face jugs.
I see. I'm glad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad. I've been looking forward to this interview for a while, but I'm glad like this was brought up because I've been a sucker for that stuff for a long time, and I've never even thought about looking into the Appalachian history of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's because I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's pretty much where do we go to? We go to the Native Americans. You know what I mean? And I've never
Mhm.
thought of doing research on the Appalachian history and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's crazy. It is
Yeah,
very crazy.
what? I'm on vacation, so it doesn't matter how late I stay. Maybe I'll fucking watch Jugface tonight. You know what I mean?
I got to show
Uh,
you, like, here's one.
yeah, please do.
It's an actual jug.
That's awesome. Now, is that kiln fired and everything?
Yeah.
Wow. Now did he make that himself, or is that something
No, this
you?
one was bought. This is not from
Okay,
his family, but I'll show you one
okay,
of his family ones because they're the
yeah,
ones that are in the Smithsonian. Give me
yeah,
one
please.
second.
Oh, absolutely. Take your time. Very cool. I am really digging this Appalachian base. Oh wow. Okay.
It's an antique Metters face jug. I have a few of them. These are worth a lot, but they
Yeah,
are wonderful pieces of Appalachian art.
that's awesome. That's really
And they
cool.
make ones
Hey,
very scary that look like devils and this and that, and
uh-huh.
that they would sit on the porch. But these are more of decorative, historical pieces.
You know
So if
what?
you come to Appalachia, you need to get a face jug.
This is just a thought. I know you just threw out. Maybe you have no idea what to do for YouTube. You know what? You could always do a jug, you know, showcase or something like that, because what you just showed me is really freaking cool. I'm
It
really
is
gonna be
cool,
looking.
right?
Yeah. How are you good on time? Because I only have a few
I
questions left.
go ahead with your few questions, but then I do gotta go because I am gonna go to dinner because I
Yeah.
have not had dinner.
Nope, that's okay. So I'm just gonna throw out my two usual questions that
Sure.
because I do appreciate you giving me your time. The two questions I always ask everybody. Okay, you have the weekend to yourself. Husband's gone. If you got any pets, they're gone. No children, no nobody's at your house. What does Jewel Denial do just to relax for 48 hours? There's no wrong questions. I've had people say they're going to clean the fucking house for 2 days. And I've even had a guest say that he jerks off to gay porn. So there is no wrong answer. What does Jewel
Dude,
Denial do to relax?
I will smoke or take gummies,
Mm-hmm.
and I will binge watch the stupidest horror movies you've ever seen in your life.
First one off the top of your head. What was the last stupid horror movie you watched?
Just recently,
Just
Killer Clowns
recently.
from Outer Space.
One of my favorites. As you can see, I got the hat right there.
I just watched it. And Silver
What
Bullet. Just
Silver
watched
Bullet's
that.
a Silver Bullet's a good one. Yeah, I knew I liked you for a reason. Last question that I ask everybody. We all know it's limited time here on Earth, and we never know when we're gonna go. Let's just
Right.
say you're going tomorrow. No limits. What's Jewel Denial's last meal on Earth? Again, I've had people say full course meals. I've had people say they're happy with Melissa Hill. She said she's happy with Kraft mac and cheese and strawberry ice cream. So, what
Oh
is your
no,
last
honey.
meal?
I'm a bougie bitch when it comes to food. So
Go for it.
it would be like lobster, caviar, champagne, top tier Michelin chef type of meal.
Good for you. Yeah. Well, Jewel, like I said, I know you. Speaking of food, you gotta get you gotta get going to dinner. I
Yes, I'm
really do.
starving actually.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have asked that question, but I do want to appreciate you sitting down for over an hour. Is there anything you want to promote? Because I know you do have T-shirts for sale. I know you're going to
I
be in an
do through
upcoming
Stoner
video
Jesus.
game.
Yeah, Stoner Jesus has taken some of my quotes and made T-shirts from them. So if you go to his page, he'll have a link.
Mm-hmm.
He's on X. And then if you also follow me, I put up the links to the T-shirts. You can get those.
Mm-hmm.
GreenGenieNY.com is another company I promote.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then also, of course, my OnlyFans. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
see my stuff, I don't do a ton of stuff, and that's the thing about my account. I don't spam people to death. I may
Right.
do something once a month. I keep it
Mm-hmm.
fresh and new so it doesn't get boring. Because if there's only so many times you can see me doing the same thing over and over again. Because I only work
Right.
with my husband or myself, so
Mm-hmm.
and it is what it is. But I still enjoy the hell out of it when I do it because I'm not overdoing it. If that makes
Right.
sense.
Oh yeah, you don't get tired of doing it. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
then the Peter North documentary is supposed to be coming out at the first of the year.
I
So
was going to ask you if you were involved in that because I know
I
he
am
does give
heavily
updates
involved
on
in
X.
that. I am number
Okay.
2 to Peter in that. Yes,
Okay.
because I provided a lot of material for that
Okay. You have a video
documentary.
game, I think, coming
Yes,
out.
and then we have the video game there's a demo of it out now
Okay.
that you can go play on Steam. And my character is amazing. She's just a
Mm-hmm.
badass, doesn't give a shit, flirty, sarcastic, just pretty much me. And that's Mystery Kink,
Okay.
and that is coming out this month. So it should be out. We want to get it out, I think, the day before or maybe on Halloween, or the week of Halloween. So it's coming out soon, the very full version of it.
Very awesome. Well, Jewel, I've said it all a handful of times already. Thank you for giving me an hour of your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a really good and open guest. I again, like I said, I like talking your porn career, but I just fell in love with the paranormal stuff. So that brought
Yeah,
a
it's
smile.
fun.
Yeah.
And it's that
So
time of year. I mean, makes it even more fun.
that's right. So for everybody in the chat, thank you. Everybody listening to the audio. I'm gonna go watch Jugface and maybe Killer Clowns. Jewel's gonna go have herself some dinner, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody.